Alright, in what has to be the most awkwardly filmed tutorial video ever, here we have some PulseEkko 500 megahertz data that we want to process, treating it as though it is IceMapper data. Now, obviously it wasn't actually collected with the IceMapper, so there are a couple of data conversion hoops that we have to go through before we can look at the data. So, assuming the data is on your Echo project stick, please don't lose that. That's a very expensive stick, like $10,000 expensive. The stick goes in. The data will be on this USB stick. Now there's a folder that gets created here called GPR data. That's where the actual data resides. So we want to copy this into our documents folder. Paste. There are two data conversion steps that we need to go through before we can look at it in the IceMap software. So the first thing, everything is touch sensitive. There is a stylus if you prefer not to use your fingers. We're looking for a file with a GPZ extension, so that's like that one right there. When we double click on it, the USB key must be inserted for this step. Echo project will launch. Now, Echo project isn't actually used for the data processing here, but it is used to export the data in a format that the other sensors and software tools can understand. So after loading the project, waiting. Is there nothing in here? Not responding. Okay, we're just waiting. Sometimes it's a little bit slow to load. I'm not quite sure why that is. A flaw in the program, maybe. All right. After a minute of waiting, we see that I accidentally pushed a button while I was waiting. We see that the data pops up here. There are a couple of lines in the line folder here. What you want to do is put a check mark in the little box where it says line set so that everything is checked. Then go to the file menu, export, lines. The fingers you've used are too large. File, export, lines, and then line data. And we'll ask you what folder to export to. If it's the documents folder, that's a good choice. Select folder. This now pops up your documents folder. We're actually done with Echo Project. So if you want to close Echo Project in the background, with Echo Project no longer needed, you can remove the USB stick. And if you're like me and get tired of the touchscreen, you can insert a mouse so that it's much easier than having to fight with the touchscreen for the rest of the operations here. All right, we have a mouse. All right. So Now this line set folder was created. These are the exported data files. Some of these files are ready to use. However, any of the GP2 files, you have to go through and double click on them once. And it runs a little program that we wrote here at Lithogen that does a little data conversion. It says press enter to exit. You can also press the X in the corner. And you'll notice that every time you click on a GP2 file, it creates a .gps file. And those are needed for the IceMap program, which expects the GPS data to be in a different format. Okay, now that we've done that, we're done our data conversions, and we're ready to go into the IceMap software. Now it's doing this thing here where it says searching. This is actually the software that's used to collect the data in the IceMap device itself. We're actually just using it to pretend we're an IceMap. So we're going to go open, and we're going to go to the documents folder and to line set, and you'll see these two, line 1, line 2. These are the two lines that were created on the device. So now we can open these in the IceMap software. I'm going to open line 1. Actually, I'll open line 2. This was a very short test line that was created in my garage, just looking at the concrete slab. So the up and down arrows can move things up and down, and the left and right arrows can move things left and right. So this is our ice threshold. Let's suppose that this is actually the thickness of the concrete slab in my garage here. Let's pretend that that's ice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go edit pics. We're going to draw a box around the area where we think the ice is. And then we're going to hit plus for it to automatically create some pics in there. And then we're going to hit edit pics one more time. Now we're done. So it picked that as our ice. It's a little bit not very clean in a couple of spots there. And you could go through and edit and add remove pics until you're happy with it. Now that we've put our ice thickness in here, we can do one of two things. First is we can generate a report. And this creates an automatic PDF version of an ice thickness report for your area. Now this is going to include like minimum thickness charts, calibration values, and various other things. Obviously we didn't go very far because we were just in our garage, but it will actually show you a map of your section here. Your ice thickness plotted as a profile. You can put in some notes here, exceptions. This is areas where you've deleted data. Then you hit export to PDF. We can let it choose whatever name it wants. Put it in a folder somewhere where you'll find it. Hit save. And it creates a PDF file which is ready for printing, emailing, etc. The other thing you can do, this button up here says launch IcePicker. So IcePicker is the second half of this software package. And it also takes a second to load the data. And the only reason we didn't start with IcePicker is because it's a lot easier to make that initial pick in the IceMap software, because you can just draw a box around it and it automatically picks things. Now obviously there's some things here that are not very clean because it's my shop floor and not real ice, but the actual reflection that you're going to see in the field is going to be a lot sharper than that. Assuming you don't need to do anything here, this software is also just a great place to export from. So if you go to the file menu and choose Save Ice Thickness File, it's going to ask you what to name it. It's asking for a CSV name. We're just going to choose line 2 because that's what our input was called. We're going to hit save. And the next thing it asks is for a color mapping bar. This is, it's going to create a Google Earth file with the various ice thicknesses. And we want to know what colors are where. So the range in the data here is 31 centimeters to 63 centimeters. So 30 centimeters would be red and 63 would be blue. Now you can change these values so that they suit whatever you want. So suppose you want everything above 45 centimeters to be okay. Maybe you want to change the low value to, 45. And that's where it's going to actually put your color bar. Let's choose 25 and see it does it the other direction. So this is the actual ice thickness range on top, and this is the color bar range on the bottom. And you can set this to whoever you want. You can adjust this in various ways to kind of present the data in different ways. People freak out when they see red on the map. So I generally actually will change my ice thickness lower threshold so that our ice thickness range has less red in it. Particularly if you know that if all of your ice is passing, you don't want red on your map, right? So you just choose a low number. Generally speaking, whatever you choose here, you want to keep using day after day. We'll just choose this. Then it loads Google Earth. Now, assuming you have Wi-Fi and have set up your internet connection over here, Google Earth will zoom in on where your data is. Now, obviously, I was just working on this in my shop, which is in my backyard here. One of the things about Google Earth is it always wants to slant the image. If you pop up the keyboard and hit the R button, you can get rid of that slant, so you're looking straight down on the image instead of on an angle. Then you'll see your ice thickness points all plotted out here in the different colors that you chose in the last step. And if you want to, you can save an image. So you just go to the file menu, save image. We're going to call it line 2 so that it matches the image. And it saves. And you can exit out of here. We don't need to save any of these places. Next time you open it up, you can load it. Take a look. Now, if you go back to your documents folder, you see there's a lot more line 2 files here now than there were line 1 files. That's because we created a PDF file, a Google Earth file, an image, and a bunch of other things. And the CSV is just like a text file that you can import into other software if you want to plot it there. We'll just open with Notepad. So you see, this is what the CSV looks like inside. It's just the data itself. You can bring that into Excel or whatever. All right, that's everything. And you'll have a little report, a little Google Earth, a little image. You can put that in whatever other products you want, and you're good to go.